the father of cloud computing is AWS.
Okay.
Okay, and Azure has lately entered into the market. Okay, but the beauty with respect to Azure is its simplicity of the services that we can use. Okay, if I can ask you what is the difference between Linux and Windows, what will you prefer?
Obviously, Windows first preference.
General pulse code, pulse of the people also, they prefer Azure. That's how it is. I'm talking about the customer pulse. I'm talking. Okay, but when it comes to the enormous amount of services that AWS provides is phenomenal. Phenomenal. You name it, it is there basically for any application. Okay, and then they are so advanced with respect to the analytics piece, especially with respect to the IoT, machine learning, artificial intelligence, neural networking. Okay, with respect to the images or with respect to the graphical ground stations to develop, they are the best. Azure is not there at that point of time. Okay,
Okay.
at this point of time, even AWS is still the leader. Okay, and then this Azure is just behind, not just behind, way behind this particular AWS also. Okay, so every cloud has got its own advantages and disadvantages basically. Okay, and another thing is that there is no monopoly in this particular cloud business, cloud space. Okay, everybody has their pitfalls and all. There are a lot of companies which are migrating from AWS to Azure due to that cost burdens and all those particular things. People are really moving on to this particular Azure. Okay, so if not AWS, what is the next best is nothing but your Azure. Basically, that we can try to compare. Okay, so that's how it works. And please don't ask me which one do you like. Okay, so you know how to create your virtual machine. So the moment once you go to this particular virtual machine, you know virtual machines to display because I think I dropped that particular virtual machine. So you create and then you can try to manage and then refresh everything you can do. You can connect to that particular virtual machine, and yesterday I have shown you how to connect to that particular virtual machine also as well. Okay. So any questions before I go on to the next one? I just want to talk about the storage options also as well. Please let me know in case if you have any questions with respect to this one before I take on to the next one here. Disks are important. The types of disks are important. The type of size of your CPUs, what you are using from the CPU family is going to be important. And the operating system, what you want is also going to be important in this particular case, which is really important. So you have got your virtual machine right now, and is anybody has created this virtual machine and then kept it ready, or nobody has tried?
Not yet tried, sir.
Huh? Sorry?
Yeah, we tried. We are in the process of creating. Right.
Okay, cool.
So, which operating system is a better option for Azure?
Windows.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'll go back here. We'll start seeing the overview of this Azure Storage account here. When you go to this home and when you select this particular home here, you have this particular services. Within the services, the moment once you come to this storage, this is important. Storage is important. Why the storage is important? Because we are talking about small data, big data here, guys. We're talking about big data. How much is the data? The data is petabytes, zettabytes, and hexabytes of data that we are talking. Because and what type of data that we need to bring into this Azure? Is it only the relational data? Yes or no? Is it only the relational data?
No, it has contains.
It should
Also
contain
contain
all the types of data. All the types of data. What do you mean by that? All types of data? All the types of data means
structured, Semi-structured.
Structured, semi-structured, unstructured.
All the unstructured. Yeah.
Unstructured data also as well. Okay. And at what frequency you need to bring the data? You need to bring the data which is old. You need to, that is legacy data. You need to bring the data which is happening. Okay. You need to bring the data up to the latest nano millisecond data also you need to bring. Okay. In such a case, one of the major challenges or the skill set that is required by the Azure data engineer is how to maintain that particular data. How to maintain that particular data. Gone are the days where use only this use only the data warehousing where you maintain your data within your relational databases and then keep the data over there in the relational format. Those days are gone. But now you should have the option of storing all the different types of data, be structured, unstructured, or semi-structured data. You need to store. You need to store. Okay. So for the purpose of storing any type of data within your Azure cloud, the first thing what you need to do is that you need to create one account. What is that account? That account is nothing but storage account. For example, when you go to home here, you're going to have something called as this storage account. This is one more new term that will be seeing here today. One more new term. Hey, one request, guys. In the chat window, could you all kindly let me know who are having the reference from my side? Who have joined from my side? Kindly let me know, because as well as kindly let me know who are the people who have come from Harsha trainings also as well. Kindly specify your name and then the from Harsha trainings you mention, and then mention your name and my name so that I can track and then let know Visualpath saying like the rest of the people are from Visualpath. Thank you so much for your cooperation in this one. Okay, thank you. So here I'm trying to create this storage accounts. When I'm creating this particular storage accounts, we need to understand this storage account here. Storage account is creating a storage service for storing data in it. That means that when you want to store something, when you want to save something, what you need to do is that we need to create a storage service account. That's the reason I go to this particular storage account here. So while I go to this particular service account here, what I do is that I click on this create this particular storage account. Again, you'll be having the list of the steps that you need to follow. What are the things you're having here? Starts with the basics. It starts with the advanced networking, data protection, encryption, tags, and review. Tags and review happens to be the same. Tags and review happens to be the same. Encryption, you know, what is the purpose of encryption? We try to decode that particular data in a cryptography format so that it will be difficult to understand, right? Data protection, we know. Like we need to protect our data with the help of the keys. We talk about that one, networking and advanced. So there are some common attributes that are really be required for each and every service that we are going to use, resources. But here we are doing this storage account. So can somebody tell me why are we creating storage account?
Store unstructured and semi-structured data.
We are creating this storage account
Is account
for
to
purpose of
store the
managing
data.
the data within that account.
Okay.
For the purpose of managing the data within that particular account. Okay. So here, storage account is
So if we want to change the data, can we do that?
sorry, what is the question?
Wow.
Mm. When you said storage account, we save the data. So if we want to change the data, can we do that?
Of course, we can do that one. Yeah. So
So one small question. So if we have some project on the laptop, Windows OS, and we want to store in this storage account, so how can we do that?
the data need to be migrated with the help of some services, madam. Data migration service, some services we need to do. But before we talk about those particular things, we need to talk about the different types of storage structures that you are having in Azure. Okay. And then we'll start mapping how your type of data, what you're having in your devices can be mapped to those particular storage structures. We'll be seeing soon on that one. Okay.
Okay.
So here, it is a Microsoft managed cloud service that is highly available here. So here I need to specify this one here. Again, subscription, I told you, right? Subscription happens to be your the Hello World subscription, what I have created, and then the resource group. I have told you, right? Everything that you create happens to be the part of this subscription and then this particular resource group. Then I have this account name here. I have this account name. So this account name, what I can do is that I can try to mention this one as I can mention it. Okay. Now here the region, in which region you want to have this one to be created, that region where you want to be created is nothing but your US East region. Okay. Now the other thing what it is asking is that what is the performance? See here, when you want to have for most of the scenarios, you prefer to have this particular standard. Okay. But when you go for this premium, that requires low latency. What do you mean by that low latency? What does it mean that low latency?
Getting the retrieving the data.
Data.
That means that there should not be any lag or delay that will be used for the purpose of getting that data. In such a case, what we do is that we try to go with this particular low latency. So premium is going to be costly, and then the standard is going to be less costly here. So for our demo purposes, I'm selecting this particular standard. Okay. Now here is the case here. The case is I have my data. Okay. What will you do in case if your data within your laptop is lost? What will you do that? It is lost forever, right? Basically, you can't restore that particular data until unless you have a backup. Here also, what I need to have is that I need to mention how I am going to duplicate this particular data, because you are storing all your company's confidential information within the cloud. Okay, when you are storing all your company's confidential information within the cloud, that means that the cloud service provider is responsible for the purpose of the durability of your data. That means that data should not be lost in any case, even in any case of disasters also as well. The cloud service provider is responsible for keeping the copy of your data. That's the reason what we do is that here it will be asking you redundancy. See here, make read access to the data available in the case of region unavailability also as well. Suppose when you go here, I can specify something like local redundant storage. When I mention something like local redundant storage, that means that there won't be any backup that is available. Region failure, I will not be able to get the data. Then when you try to go for something like zone redundant storage, this is within the data center only. That's why I'll not be able to get this one. But when you want to have something like geo zone redundant storage or geographical redundant storage, then only you can have the option of trying to get that particular backup in case the region is available. So that's why these are all the different mechanisms. Whatever type of data that you store, whether you store your structured, semi-structured or unstructured data, how are you going to keep that particular backup? Okay, if you try to keep the data within your local redundant storage or your zone redundant storage, do you think that a backup is available in case if your region fails? No backup will be available. When it will be available? Either when it is at the region zone level or else when it is your geo level, then only those particular backup scenarios are supposed to be available. Basically, this is one thing that you need to keep in mind. This is one thing that you need to keep in mind, basically. Okay. No.
Yeah. Will it be accessible across the all the regions or respect to this region only?
With respect to this region only, because you are mentioning this one with respect to this region only,
Yeah.
right?
You're right. Because in AWS S3 bucket, it is irrespective. Even though we are creating one region, it is accessible across the all regions. in the sense means like
See, the name is global, but it will be made in one region, and the replication also will be made in different regions. It will not be globally accessible, sir. It will not be
okay, okay, got it. Yes.
One question. Um, if the region, I mean, we look at different region, and if at all that region is not, I mean, it's shut down or something like that. So can we move the, I mean, data to other region at that moment?
No, that happens only at the time of selecting that region only. If you select that,
Not when the region is down.
no, you can't do that. You cannot do that.
Okay.
So all the configurations, what you need to do has to be done during the configurations phase itself, not at the time of this disaster.
So is there any possibility of backup available?
That's what we are doing here, right? Based on the thing what you are specifying here, based on that only the backups will be taken. Whether you want to have some backup with respect to this uh, replication options, accordingly it is going to take that particular backups.
Oh, so if one region is down, there will be backup, so we can go to the other region and do the process.
You don't do, Azure does.
Okay.
We don't do anything here. Everything is managed by Azure behind the scenes. Okay?
So where is everything, the data will be stored? I mean, backup data.
Where the backup data will be stored? Backup data will be stored behind the scenes, which is not relevant to us. The reason why it is not relevant to us is, see, when you talk about the region will be having so many data centers. Okay, Azure doesn't tell you the places where those data centers are existing as per their confidential or compliance policies. They don't tell you. They don't tell you. Now like in a particular region like US East, there are 3 data centers. I don't know the places where those data centers or the zones exist basically.
Okay. Just it tells us the place.
That's it, Ante. Yes. So we mentioned this one as locally written storage and then click on this advanced button. Okay. I'm not doing any here. This is one thing that is important here. Secure transfer of this REST APIs. Okay. These things I'm trying to keep them as default only. Okay. But here, if hierarchical namespace also I don't tell you here right now at this point of time, but keep all these things as default and then go to this. Within the networking, it is asking you enable public access from all the networks. Yes. Okay. Or disable public access is only private access within your resources only. Basically, that one you need to specify. And how do you want to have your data to be accessed? The storage data to be accessed, whether you want to use this Microsoft network routing or else whether you want to have your internet routing. Ravikumar, it is something like an endpoint that we have in AWS. For something like public routing means your data will not be encrypted because it is through the public internet you try to do. But when it is something like your Microsoft network routing, that means that either it should be with the help of the VPNs, virtual private network, or else it should be with the help of your Microsoft networking, you'll be doing this one. So you need to specify this particular network routing at this point of time. These two are really important in this particular case here. Okay. Then go to the data production. Okay. In the data production, what you do is that,
could you repeat the network routing once again? Only just the network routing part.
see, in this network routing, you have your file that has been stored in one region or within zone. Now you want to access that particular file. So when you want to access that particular file, I need to specify, shall I enable this public access? Anybody can access. In case if anybody is going to access, what type of network it is going to use, whether it is going to use the internet routing, the public internet, what we use through our carriers and all those things. Otherwise, it will be a dedicated networking that we use that is going to be specified with the help of this Microsoft network routing here, basically. That's how it is going to be used. Got my point?
Yes.
Okay. Then I go to this data production. Within this data production, what I am going to do is that protect your data from accidental or erroneous deletion or modification. That means that enable point in time restore. Okay. Now, suppose if somebody has accidentally deleted a file, what I do is that I don't physically delete that particular file, but what I do is that I try to mention something called as soft deletes. I'll try to mention this one as soft deletes in this particular case. That one I can mention. Okay. And enable soft delete for all the different types of things what you're having here that has to be
What does BLOPS mean?
you need to wait for some time, madam, before we talk about the BLOPs.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. Because BLOPs are nothing but the binary large objects which are nothing but your unstructured data. Okay. Those things we'll be talking about once we complete this particular storage account. Okay. Now, here we need like you uploaded a file. Okay, assuming that the name of the file is sample. Okay. Now you upload the same file once again with modified content with the same name. Then in such a case, what you can do is that you can have the option of enabling this particular versions also as well. Keep all these particular versions you can mention. That means that you'll be modifying your documents, right? Version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4, and all those particular things. So all those particular versions can be maintained using this keep all these particular versions here in this case. That means that the storage account is going to provide you the complete guidelines of how to use your data and how to configure your data and how to make your data or information available to all the different types of people. All those particular things are going to be specified as a part of this storage account architecture. And based on the guidelines, what you are specifying here, the principles are going to be applied the moment once you start saving the data into this particular storage account. Okay, is that clear to you? So keep all these particular versions and then enable version control for immutability support. This is not required. I just want to keep track of these things here. Encryption, like in case if you want to maintain this encryption, whether you want to use your Microsoft managed keys or customer managed keys, we want to use. Okay. And another thing what you need to do is that enable infrastructure encryption, which is really beyond the scope of our topic, which we don't touch them. Because many of the things what you're having here are related to infrastructure guys, basically. Okay. That's the reason some of the things we don't touch, but whatever that is really required for data engineering purposes, we are touching them here. Tags I have told you, which will be used to, I'll tell you about this particular tags. These tags are nothing but my usage tags. I just want to monitor and then track the billing of these resources across the account. So I can try to create this particular tags. Tags are having a significant value, which we will be talking at a later point of time. Then you click on this review. Within this review, what we can specify here, we'll be specifying the redundancy factor, the replication, what you want to have, uh, and the SFTP devices, the networking storage, what we want to use, the security, what is really enabled, the data protection, what you're having here, everything is going to be specified. And then what you do is that you can go ahead and then click on this particular create for creating this storage account. So what is the purpose of the storage account here? Storage account is the method of creating the storage service for storing data in it. Okay, it contains the different types of storages that we use. Okay, so it is going to contain this blobs, queues, tables, and files, which you'll be seeing here right now. Okay, so we'll specify this one and then click on create button, and it will start creating this initial deployment and then start creating this storage account, which is deployment is in progress. Is it clear to you what we are doing here? Important.
How to learn Python also for this?
ఏదండి
పైథాన్ కూడా నేర్చుకోవాలండి? పైథాన్ కూడా ఉందా దీంట్లో?
మొత్తం అన్ని బాధ్యతగా నేర్పిస్తాం
అలా కాదు, అంటే కోడింగ్ కూడా ఉందా అని?
కోడింగ్ ఉంటుంది. ఎస్.
సో ఇన్ డీప్ డైవా లేకపోతే జస్ట్ బేసిక్స్ తెలుస్తుంది చాలు?
నేనైతే డీప్ డైవ్ చేస్తానండి. డీప్ డైవ్స్. Deep dive is really required for a couple of things with respect to the data analytics. With respect to PySpark, a deep dive is really required. That's why you do the deep dives. And then I'll make sure to, if there are letters like A, B, C, D, okay, without making you to know this A, B, C, I don't go for D. Okay, so I'll try to make it as easy as 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's what it's going to be.
ఒక్క ఇప్పుడు రెజ్యూమే ప్రిపరేషన్ కూడా చెప్తారా అండి మీరు? ఓకే. ఇంకోటి ఇప్పుడు ఏటీబీఎస్ అకౌంట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాం కదా! అలాగే దీనికి కూడా అకౌంట్ ఉంటదా సెపరేట్‌గా?
దేనికండి?
ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏటీబీఎస్‌కి ఇప్పుడు మనం
This code account create this already create this account. You see here, this is the default account that we have created, which is your free trial account that we have created. In this particular free trial account, you have how much is the $200 credit will be given, which you need to consume within 1 month of time. After that one, you need to pay for that one, which is going to be pay as you go policy that we are going to implement. Okay,
ఓకే.
that's what we are going to do here. Don't worry, we'll be seeing all this.
One doubt.
Cheppan, sir.
Without our consent, they will not upgrade it automatically,
Of
right?
course,
After 1 month, we have to do it.
ante after that one only you have to do. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Avi, small question. So yesterday I was not able to join అండి, చెప్పాను కదా మీకు. సో నిన్న కాన్సెప్ట్స్ ఈ రిసోర్స్
The virtual machine what you have created right today, that was the concept that we have seen yesterday and basically.
ఓకే. సో ద స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్ అండ్ వర్చువల్ విఎం క్రియేషన్ అయిందండి నిన్న.
Storage account ఇవాళే చెప్తాను, నేను చెప్పలేదు అసలు. Only
Okay.
VM account only we have created yesterday.
ఓకే, షూర్, థ్యాంక్స్.
And I shall tell you the top secret.
చెప్పండి సార్.
The virtual machine I have told only just for you. Open secret.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Don't worry.
Thank
I'm just kidding, man. Kidding.
Yeah.
So here, see, what is the purpose of this Azure storage we are using here? The purpose of the Azure storage is that cloud storage, anytime, anywhere access is the purpose why we are creating this Windows Azure storage. Jaykumar, no WhatsApp group has been created. So Visualpath and Harsha Technologies are asking to pay the fee before they create that group. That's what they are saying. Okay. And it is durable and highly available, and pay for what you use. And it is massively scalable. And another thing what you are having is that Azure storage is accessible from any platform like desktop, web, or devices basically. That is the purpose of why we need to create this particular Azure storage account. What is this one here? Azure storage account is a secure storage account that gives the access to the services in this Azure storage here. That gives access to the secure storage within this Azure account here. And then there are two types of accounts, right? I told you what is the standard and what is the premium. Tell me the difference.
For the premium, low latency, and we have to pay
for
more.
premium we have low latency. For the standard will be having the common regular pattern that we can see here basically. Okay, so I have two things, and then Harshita, yeah, Harshita, I told you, right? Standard store accounts include all the storage abstractions. These are all the things that we are going to talk about. What is
Okay.
block, what is stable, what is queue, and what is file storage.
ఓకే.
We'll be talking. And then premium storage account supports virtual storage SSDs, solid state drives it supports. That's why it will be having the minimum low latency basically. This is what is your Azure storage account. Within this Azure storage account, you are going to have these blobs, these tables, you have these queues, you have these files, and then you have this particular premium storage. So we need to understand what is something that we store in queues, what is something that we store in blobs, what is something that we store in files, and what will be stored in premium storage. this blob, what you are seeing here is similar to that S3 bucket, what you are having in AWS. S3 bucket. Okay.
Okay.
When you go to this place, we'll be talking about these blobs. Other things are in here. So coming back to this Microsoft Storage blob here. Blob means binary large objects. Okay. Blob service is a service for storing large amount of unstructured data such as binary text or images. You can use this blob storage to store the contents like documents, social media, images, cloud, and then this particular log files. Ravikumar garu, is it not a data lake that we are talking like in AWS?
Yes, yes, indeed.
This is blob. This is your data lake that we're going to use here basically. This is your blob storage. Blob stands
Like S3.
Like S3. Okay. So it is platform as a service. And what will be provided in platform as a service? What is in your control as a platform as a service? What is in your control? The things that are there in your control are, what are the things that are there in your control? In platform as a service. Your application, your data is in your control. The rest what you are having here is there in the control of your cloud service provider. So it is a platform as a service, which means that you just store retrieve the files, paying for the actual amount of storage you use, and Azure takes care of setting up managing the VMs required for this particular service. That is what is blob. Okay. When you store the file in the blob service, you can easily make it publicly available over the internet. Did we see this one or not?
Yes.
What did we see? Like whether you want to have this information to be publicly accessible over the internet or through this Microsoft Internet account, Microsoft networking, right? Now,
Yes.
this is the structure. You have the account, which is nothing but your storage account. Within the storage account, we need to create this container. Within this particular container, we need to create this blob objects, and these blob objects will be referring this particular pages and blocks. Okay. Now, when you go back to this Azure, deployment is completed here. Once you go to this deployment resource, go to this resource.
Container only just videos and images. Nothing, and we can write data also, or only just videos and images.
ఏదైనా పెట్టచ్చు దాంట్లో you put anything, it will be there. That is blob. ఇక్కడ మీకు కనిపిస్తున్నాయి కదా, what we can say, Narasimhareddy garu, Nagamani garu, you are able to see right here. You have these containers, you have these file shares, you have these queues, and then you have these tables. This is the type of data that you can store within this data storage. Okay.
Okay.
Raj garu, I hope you are following, right? This is what we store here. So here, when you go to these containers, we want to create this container. Specify this particular container as Ravi Rocks. It won't accept that uppercase, but mention this as Ravi Rocks. Ravi Rocks, and then what you do is that you click on this create. Ravi Rocks has been created. So
it's just like a PEM file.
We have this account and we have this container.
Okay, I understood this.
Then we need to proceed. What we need to do.
Okay.
Once we open this container, what is going to ask here? It is going to ask you to upload. What is something that you want to upload? You want to upload something like drag and drop the files.
So if we on desktop and files we can save here.
Yeah, we can save it. This is the way we try to do this files here. So that's why what it is showing you something like I can have this JPEG files which are nothing but block images, and then you can have a hierarchy, something like block and page, and these sort of things can So we'll stop here today and then we'll continue tomorrow and we'll take it from there. Is it okay with you? Can somebody summarize what has been done so far? Prashant Garu, if you can do that one, I'll be very much happy, sir.
Yeah, today we were discussing about like how exactly we have to create a VM hypervisor or and based on when you are creating a VM, like security keys NT and likewise, I mean, what type of encryption you are following and all that stuff. And then we discussed about storage accounts.
Yeah.
This is more or less equal to S3 in AWS, wherein you can.
Which is equal to S3. Container or blob, what you are seeing here is something like more or less equal to the test.
Blob is
Blob.
equal to S3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is like, yeah. Anyways, that is the analogy I'm saying. But anyway, this S3 is the storage for all the data, structured or unstructured, in Azure. So for this, I mean, we have to create a specific storage account, and then we can store like various kinds of data in it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we'll be doing here basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I am telling you the roadmap. The roadmap is we'll be doing the main things. First, we'll be creating we have created this virtual machine. We'll be talking about the storage. We'll talk about networking, the basics of networking. We'll be talking about the database, how to create the database, and we'll be talking about security, which happens to be important. Once all these things should be done by next Monday or Tuesday, I think tomorrow we have a class, and the next 2-3 days we should be done with these services. Then we'll start setting the rhythm, the tune, and the journey for your data engineering with respect to this Azure. Okay, so there we'll be talking about what we'll be focusing on, the roadmap, and all those particular things will come into the picture. Any questions before we conclude today?
How long is the course?
Course is going to be 2 months, 260 working days minimum.
Okay, and it's 5 days a week or 7 days a week?
5 days a week.
So for Christmas also we'll be having class?
And మీరే చెప్పాలి.
I'm fine. నాకు problem ఏం లేదు.
See, for me, anyway, we'll be having classes till 22nd.
Okay.
22nd means
Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, Friday.
Oh,
Friday
okay.
we'll be having the classes. That week we'll be seeing when to take their classes and all. But till that point of time, let me set the momentum rhythm for this Azure, and we'll be taking from there. Okay. In case if any of your friends who are really serious about learning this particular Azure data engineering, no matter whether it's from my side, from Visualpath side, or from Azure training side, please bring in people, because this journey is going to be good.
How is the market actually?
Market for Azure is really phenomenal,
Okay.
really phenomenal. I want to join in Azure if there is an opportunity.
మీరు ఆల్రెడీ అజ్యూరే కదా?
Azure and AWS రెండు చేస్తాను, but want to go to Azure totally.
Okay.
Possible.
సో రవి గారు ఒక చిన్న క్వశ్చన్. సారీ చెప్పండి.
ఇప్పుడు మీకు క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ ఎన్నో లేదండి?
ఏదండి?
క్లాస్ స్టార్ట్ 1 వీకా?
1 week కాదు, 3 days 4 days అయింది. I send you the recordings for sure. చెప్పండి సార్.
సో మనం ఒక విఎం క్రియేట్ చేసాం అండ్ S3 కదండి. సో ఇది మళ్ళీ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నామా లేకపోతే రికార్డింగ్ చూసి ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయమంటారు?
రికార్డింగ్ చూసి ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి, బట్ మళ్ళీ విల్ బి క్రియేటింగ్ n number of times all these things once again.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. అండ్ ఇంకో బేసిక్ క్వశ్చన్ రవి గారు, లైక్ ఐ నో మీరు కూడా US లో ఉన్నారు, మండే టు ఫ్రైడే పెట్టారు. ఇది అంటే ఫ్రైడే మనకు అంటే US టైమింగ్ సండే టు థర్స్డే కుదురుతుందా? అంటే నా ఒపీనియన్, ఐ డోంట్ నో మెజారిటీ పీపుల్ ఏమంటారు నాకు తెలియదు. ఎందుకంటే ఫ్రైడేస్ జనరల్లీ మనం US లో బయటికి వెళ్తాం కదా. సో
సండేస్ వెళ్తామండి మేము బయటికి. సండేస్ మా ఇంట్లో కొడతారు సండే క్లాస్ పెట్టామండి. దానికి క్షమించండి సార్.
Okay. Sure.
సార్ నాకు ఒక చిన్న డౌట్ సార్. యాక్చువల్గా మీరు చెప్తున్నారు, నేను అక్కడక్కడ కొన్ని పాయింట్స్ తీసుకోలేకుండా ఐ మీన్ లైక్ అర్థం కాలేదు. సో ఎలా సార్, అంటే ఇప్పుడు కొన్ని పాయింట్స్ నాకు ఇప్పుడు మీరు కొన్ని ఇప్పుడు వర్చువల్ మిషన్ అంటే జస్ట్ నాకు అర్థమైన పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో అంటే ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ బి లైక్ విచ్ వీ కెన్ ఫీల్ అండ్ టచ్. ఇట్ ఈస్ కంప్యూటర్ బట్ విచ్ వీ కెనాట్ ఫీల్, రైట్? అంతే కదా?
అది మనది కాదు, మనది కాదు అంతే. యా, it's virtual. It is meant by somebody else and you are using that one. That is virtual. Physical computer అంటే మీ ఇంట్లో మీ సిస్టమ్ లో డెస్క్టాప్ ఉంటుంది చూసారా, దట్ ఈస్ అ ఫిజికల్ సిస్టమ్ బేసికల్లీ.
కొన్ని పాయింట్స్ ఉన్నాయి. ఇప్పుడు చెప్పిన దాంట్లో నిన్న వర్చువల్ మిషన్ క్రియేట్ చేసాము, ఈరోజు స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్ క్రియేట్ చేసాం. అలా కొన్ని మధ్యలో మిస్ అవుతున్నాను నేను. అంటే
మిస్ అయిన అన్ని మీరు రేజ్ తీసుకొని నాకు పంపించండి. ఐ విల్ మేక్ షూర్ దట్ ఐ విల్ క్లారిఫై దోస్ థింగ్స్ ఇన్ నెక్స్ట్ క్లాస్. ఓకే,
Good night, sir.
హలో
I'm just logging off, sir. Good night.
గుడ్ నైట్.
హలో
చెప్పండి.
ఇప్పుడు మనకి కంపెనీస్ ఉంటాయి కదా, ఇప్పుడు కంపెనీలో వర్క్ చేస్తున్నాం, వీఆర్ వర్కింగ్ ఇన్ సమ్ కంపెనీ అండ్ వీ వాంట్ టు, అంటే ఇప్పుడు ప్రాజెక్ట్ అనేది సమ్ కంపెనీస్ విల్ డివైడ్, ఇఫ్ ఇట్స్ అ బిగ్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ అండ్ ఇఫ్ యూ హ్యావ్ లెస్ టైమ్ we divide the project and tie up with other companies also కదా.
No.
So is it possible to link with this?
అంటే అర్థం కాలేదు.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు మనం some part of code we did and some part of the code some other company did.
అదంటే డెవాప్స్ తో చేస్తాం చెప్తాను.
అది పాసిబుల్ కదా?
యా, ఆఫ్ కోర్స్ ఇట్ ఇస్ పాసిబుల్.
ఇప్పుడు ఇది Azure with DevOps అండి.
ఇది Azure Data Engineering, but we'll be touching those concepts also as well. When you are coordinating with the other pieces, we'll be touching that one. Yes.
Ravi, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me, sir.
So today we discussed about Azure Storage, right? So,
Yeah.
So ADLS Gen 1 or Gen 2, is it not part of storage or is it within the blob?
No, నేను కొన్ని కాన్సెప్ట్స్ అక్కడ మిస్ చేశాను చూసారా, లైక్ when we are trying to create that hierarchy of containers అని చెప్పి, that is the place where those Azure data lakes and other things will come into the picture అండి. It's going to be the part of these things only, basically.
Okay, so is it classification within the blob structure or container?
Yeah, it's the classification within the blob structure, basically.
Okay.
ఇక్కడ ఒక నిమిషం, when we try to create అది చూపిస్తాను. I think when we go to home, okay, when we try to create this storage account, just a minute, I'll leave in a minute. When we create this one, so
The advanced page has
advanced space has something like hierarchies. You see here, this is the hierarchical namespace. This is the place where complemented with these things will come into this. We'll talk about that one once we go there. Okay.
okay. Thanks.
No problem. Yeah. So that's it from my side, and we'll meet tomorrow, and then we'll take it from there,
Sorry?
guys. ఏదండి
టైం 1 hour ఇంకొంచెం లాంగ్ పెంచుతారా? ఏమైనా కుదురుతుందా?
ఇప్పటికే 11 అయిపోయింది కదండి. అంటే ఇంక ముందుకు పెంచమంటున్నారా?
కాదు. అంటే 1 hour అంటే కంప్లీట్ అవుతుందా అని.
నేను 1 hour తీసుకోవట్లేదు. 10:50 స్టార్ట్, 9:50 స్టార్ట్ చేసి 11 దాకా వెళ్తుంది క్లాస్. మోర్ దెన్ 1 hour ఇట్ ఇస్ గోయింగ్. సో ఇనీషియల్గా అంత అయితేనే అర్థం చేసుకుంటారు. ఎందుకంటే ఎక్కువ కాంటెంట్ కనుక మనం చెప్పినా కూడా థింగ్స్ విల్ గెట్ కన్ఫ్యూజ్డ్ అండ్ మెస్డ్ అప్ అండి. దట్స్ రీజన్ విల్ స్టార్ట్ స్లో, గో స్లో, అండ్ దెన్ విల్ బి యాక్సిలరేటింగ్ థింగ్స్ వేర్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి యాక్సిలరేటెడ్, అండ్ దెన్ విల్ బి మెయింటైనింగ్. అండ్ మీరు ప్లీజ్ డోంట్ వరీ అబౌట్ వెదర్ ద టైమ్ విల్ బి సఫిషియంట్ ఆర్ నాట్. ఐ విల్ మేక్ షూర్ దట్ దిస్ Azure Data Engineering is going to be a complete meal for you with respect to the data journey. చేస్తాను నేను కంపల్సరీగా.
సార్ నాకు ఒక చిన్న డౌట్ సార్. యాక్చువల్గా మళ్ళీ ఒకే డౌట్, ఒకే క్వశ్చన్ సార్. యాక్చువల్గా నేను అడిగాను మిమ్మల్ని, మీరు చెప్తానన్నారు. కోడింగ్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ నాకు 0 నాలెడ్జ్ కోడింగ్ బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్. హౌ ఫార్ విల్ సక్సీడ్ ఇన్ దిస్ కోర్స్ అనేది ఒక చిన్న క్వశ్చన్.
You
అంటే
trust me?
జీరో కంప్లీట్ జీరో.
See, I don't want to tell you these things at this point of time because we didn't code anything. Okay. The moment once we start coding, then you ask me and I'll be telling you for sure. And then again, I'm
Okay.
ensuring you.
Okay.
I'll make that thing as easy as 1, 2, 3 in case if that coding is required. Okay. Don't worry about
Okay. సరే, ఈరోజు మీరు స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్ క్రియేట్ చేసినప్పుడు స్లైడ్ చూపించారు. సో అలాగే సబ్స్క్రిప్షన్ రిసోర్స్ అలా స్లైడ్స్ అలా కూడా ఉందా సార్ రూట్స్ దాంట్లో కూడా వాటికి కూడా?
it. I'll be sending you that notes, everything. Yes, sir. I have the notes for you. I'll be sending you that one.
ఓకే, ఓకే, థ్యాంక్స్.
No problem.
ఇప్పుడు కోడింగ్ హెవీ నార్మల్గా ఇప్పుడు ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ అవన్నీ ఉంటాయండి దీంట్లో, లేకపోతే జస్ట్
Case studies and use case scenarios నేను చెప్తాను మొత్తం దీంట్లో.
ఏంటండి?
యూస్ కేస్ సినారియోస్ అని చెప్తాను దీంట్లో.
అది కాదు, ఇప్పుడు మనం జనరల్గా ఇప్పుడు కోడింగ్ చేసి ప్రాజెక్ట్ చేస్తాం కదా, ఇప్పుడు జావా పైథాన్ ఇవి ప్రాజెక్ట్స్ వస్తాయి, అంత హెవీగా ఉంటుందా లేకపోతే ఎలా ఉంటుంది?
లైట్ వెయిట్ ఉంటుంది, లైట్ వెయిట్ థింగ్స్ ఉంటుంది. Okay. So stop sharing and that's it for today, and then we'll take it from tomorrow. Okay. Professor, is this your first class?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, are you from India or from US?
Sir, from India, Harsha training.
Okay. So please follow those recordings, and then I'll talk to you tomorrow. And then, in case if you have any questions, I'll talk to you and to Harsha also as well. Whoever has joined today, I'll talk to you tomorrow and then cover the things basically. Okay.